Hey guys, Louie here. Well, gardening season 2021 is about to kick off and I've already started. I've planted in some basic seeds, things that I plan on growing out in the garden as I transfer them from a seedling form into a better planting bed out in the landscape, and hopefully get into a series and give you updates on how we will showcase them either as ornamental form, in the form of annuals and perennials, and also as vegetables. This year, in my head, I have a big plan on how to develop a vegetable garden, but we will start small for today's video. I wanted to show you some seeds that I've started putting in the little planting receptacles, and seed gardening is what any serious gardener does during the winter months. And for today's video, I wanted to show you an annual. We wanted to have sweet peas in the garden, and for today I'll show you the basics on how to grow them from seed, basic tips and tricks on how to make them grow well, and how we can maintain them for hopefully a May to June blooming time. Give you all the details about it as I go along with the video. For today, Basic 411, growing sweet peas here on Acorn Hill. Well, okay guys, welcome to my first ever seed starting 101 videos series here on Acorn Hill. Now, for this compressed video, I have several seeds that I will be planting and starting as seeds indoors. There are also several ways that I wanted to show you how I've started and experimented how to grow seeds. And along the way, along the video, I will discuss them with you, what tools I needed to use, what practical tips I've learned from other gardeners starting their seeds, and what type of plants I'm planning on putting out into the garden that I'm starting from seedlings indoors. Now, there are annuals and perennials, and for the first time this year, I will be delving into vegetables. And so it'll be a fun series, and I hope that you guys stick around. I'll try to be very concise, very direct, and really just give you all the basics that we need so that we can get a very successful growing season this coming year. For this year, to save on buying extra seed planting trays and extra plastic use, I opted on using gallon jugs, either coming from distilled water or from milk jugs. And I have seen these videos by other YouTubers where they started their seedlings using plastic milk jugs, almost like a mini greenhouse. And this greenhouse method has been successful for many gardeners. I'm being very moderate with my assumption there, but I know that experienced gardeners have been using this technique and they swear by it. So this year, as a fun experiment, I will give it a go. Now, the obvious material that we need to use for this type of gardening are milk jugs or distilled water, purified water milk jugs, and I've amassed a few of them. I've got about 6 of them, and what I've done is I have cut them about 4.5 inches to 5 inches from the bottom and cut it all the way around, leaving about a 2-inch gap, a solid plastic, so that will form the hinge for when I have to flip the top of the mini greenhouse. After preparing the top, the bottom, and the hinge for the plastic, what I've done is I used a sharp implement. Fine tip pair of scissors work really well. This is to create holes down the bottom of the plastic jug. Now, plastic jugs come in different shapes and different contours, so I made sure that I poked the holes, creating more drainage right along the convex portions of the bottom of the jugs. Next is the soil. I used high-quality seed starting potting mixes that are readily available in bags and very economically priced in garden centers. Now, this is the part that's important, and I cannot stress this enough. These are seedling mixes, potting mixes that are peat-free. They don't hold way too much moisture, and they drain really well. I placed about 3 to 4 inches of seedling mix down into the bottom of the milk jug or the water jug. I misted it really well, making sure that it's all moist all the way through, and this would be the perfect growing medium for the seedlings that we've chosen. In this preparation, I have chosen poppies. I have never grown poppies in North Carolina, and hopefully with the seeds that I've already gotten a couple of years ago, it is now time to get them planted into the ground, and we will start them now in these mini greenhouses. Poppy seeds are naturally very small, and so in order for these seeds to be evenly dispersed, what I do is I empty the packet into my palm, and what I'll do is pinch them and slowly distribute them right on top of the prepared soil that are in the mini greenhouses. Next, I firmly tamped down the soil and sprayed it down with a lot of mist, then covered it with a lid, labeled it, dated it, and now I'm moving on to the next type of application. For the next seed planting application, this time it's for the delphiniums. Delphiniums are these blue spires that I like growing in the garden. Last year I grew them from prepared, already grown plants that we got from the garden center. This year, I'm looking to see whether I could grow them using the mini greenhouse application. To secure the lid of the mini greenhouse, I flipped down the top part of the milk jug or the water jug, and I used high adhesive cellophane tape. These usually last a good 2 months, and between now and the time that we're expecting the temperatures to become warmer, we will have more growth growing inside these containers. With the delphiniums and oriental poppies already placed in water jugs, now it's time for us to put more delphinium seeds, this time using the milk jug method. Now, the translucent nature of the milk jug plastic will offer a nice, even, diffused light source when they are emanating from the outside toward the inside where the seeds will be located. This even light and heat source is pretty good for the seeds. It will now get its own greenhouse effect inside the milk jug, which will provide even growth, hopefully in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And again, similar to what we did in the earlier clip, what we did is place the holes under the bottom of the milk jug, filled the bottom of the jug with moist seed starting potting mix. Make sure it's peat free so it doesn't retain too much moisture, and then gathered up all the delphinium seeds and very lightly sprinkled it on top of the soil. I lightly tamped it as well, that way there's good seed to soil contact. And with a few pieces of highly adhesive cellophane tape, just seal all the way around the cut line of the jug, and this is all ready to go. A word of caution and a good practical tip: make sure that the cover for the jug is removed. We are not using that. We want to make sure that there's enough ventilation holes, and that will be provided by the actual mouth of the jug itself. Don't forget also to give it a good couple of spritz of water inside the planting area, and by the time you leave it outside, both with snow and with enough rain that comes its way, you will have enough moisture inside the jug. Next on my seed planting project, this year I've decided to grow a small vegetable patch. It's my first year of growing it, and so I had to choose plants that are easy to grow, with less problems with pests, and would really give me a good yield once I get it going on the ground. As you can see in this clip, I am planting seeds coming from the locinato, or the type of dinosaur kale, an Italian-based, Italian kind kale that I think is good not only as a vegetable but also as ornamentals in a perennial garden. The sweeter taste of this type of kale is far better than what I also prefer, but it's kind of on the bitter side, the regular kale that one gets from the garden. The foliage itself of this type of kale is interesting and striking. You have good crumpled dark green to bluish green leaves. They grow, gets really sweeter when the winter hits it. It's a hardy vegetable, and it's something that I think is worth the money. For a packet of seeds containing about 50 that only costs about $3 to $4, I think this is one of those good investments that any gardener, especially a beginner vegetable gardener like me, could experiment with less damage to the wallet. Alright, so what I did here was very simple. I filled up these cups. Sometimes I use just simple cups that you get from the grocery store and turn them into planting pods. I made sure that there's holes underneath each plastic cup, filled them with good quality seed starting potting mix. I made each divot or each hole poking the soil with my index finger up to the first digit line or the first joint line, creating a hole that's about a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch deep. With each hole, I planted a pinch of seeds coming from the batch that I have. That's about 4 to 5 seeds per hole. I covered the hole by pulling back the soil, watered it well, and placed it in a propagation box. Now another good tip, and many gardeners do this, is after they planted their seeds, they made sure that they not only label, but they also put the date on the different seeds in the different batches that's been prepared. The plan is also for me to check on them every 5 days. Some of them may require checking every 3 days or so, again depending on the different seeds that I planted. This is an experiment and I wanted to see whether I will grow these seeds successfully. A success rate of 80% among all the seeds that I have planted will be something that's fairly acceptable by my standards. So wish me luck on this seed starting journey that I have initiated for 2021. And along the way, as always, I will be giving you updates, so wish me luck. If you happen to stumble on any of my videos on this channel, welcome. Thank you for joining and spending your time with me. Give my videos a thumbs up, like it, share it, and most importantly, consider subscribing to Acorn Hill. There's a lot of content that we can all learn something new from. Acorn Hill is our home here in North Carolina, and it reflects on all our likes, our interests, our lifestyle, and how we become modern homesteaders. So I hope to see you soon on the upcoming videos and upcoming vlogs on this channel. For now, this is Louis, your modern homesteader, and we'll see you back here in Acorn Hill. Bye for now.